If you're an e-com founder or doing marketing for an e-commerce company and you're not paying attention to what's happening on TikTok Shop, this is your wake-up call. There's a huge arbitrage moment to get free media, and that's what today's episode is about. We're having on my friend Mike Rama. He's one of the leading TikTok Shop experts. On Black Friday alone, they accounted for over 1% of all of the GMV that was generated on TikTok Shop. It was the creators that are a part of his company. And in this episode, you're going to learn the tactics people are using to dominate TikTok Shop as a distribution channel for their brand. One of those things you're going to learn is how companies are creating specific bundles that are only available on TikTok Shop that are at a super steep discount. These bundles are relatively break even from a profit standpoint, but what it does is it creates a buyer frenzy, which makes a viral moment for the brand on TikTok Shop, which creates a halo effect both on their website and on Amazon. You're also going to learn how to structure campaigns, what the average price per video is, what's the affiliate commissions that are most effective currently, and the final thing you'll learn is what type of brands TikTok Shop is good for and what type of brands it isn't. Specifically consumables, it's a great category. For example, consumables, that's a great type of brand for TikTok Shop, where there's monthly consistent repeat purchases that are going to happen into the future. And this episode is brought to you by Landing Cat. Landing Cat automates SEO and CRO for e-commerce brands. They create thousands of product landing pages or blog posts based off of your product catalog and optimize those pages automatically based off of the clickstream data that they're getting from your conversion pixel, that they get from their conversion pixel that's on your site. Their platform helps you turn SEO into a performance marketing channel. And the best part is that the costs for their service stay the same, but your ROAS increases the longer you have it deployed. So it's a way to get off of the Facebook ads flywheel and make a long-term investment in organic traffic for your brand. Go to landingcat.com to learn more or click the link in the description. Let's get started with today's show. Mike, what's good, man?
Cody,
Dude,
what's
I'm
going on?
so stoked to have you back.
I'm very excited to be back. I feel like we got a lot to catch up on. A lot's changed since we spoke maybe 6 months ago, something like that.
Totally. I think I wrote in the email, I was like, we need a state of the union of TikTok Shop and what's going on. So this is perfect. Where are you at right now? The background looks amazing.
I am in Miami. Just moved here last month. I was down in Colombia for a little bit, but officially stateside again.
Amazing, man. He's back from his expat. You were just telling me right before before we jumped on the call that crazy numbers on Black Friday for your the agency and like how much traffic you drive. Can you just tell the audience that?
Yeah.
It's just wild.
Yeah, so I think the last time we spoke was like October or something. And TikTok, they don't normally talk about, how much the whole platform does. But Black Friday, they came out and they're like, yeah, we just crossed the $100 million mark on Black Friday in particular. So they just surpassed that. And then I was going through our data through our network and, I looked it up, and Black Friday, we did 1.24 million. And I kind of scratched my head. I'm like, holy shit, like we do 1% of all TikTok transactions like that. Like I was blown away when I saw that.
That's insane, man. I love that so much. So we'll get into all of this, but I guess just to kind of get up to speed on like the changes that have happened, I feel like TikTok Shop has, since the last time we talked about 6 months ago, really has kind of matured. What are the biggest changes that have happened in the last 6 months, and like what do brands need to be thinking about now if they're even going to try to go after TikTok Shop as a distribution channel?
Yeah, great question. I would say the biggest changes that we're seeing is in terms of where the leverage is. So early on, you could, throw a product up there as long as it was kind of like that TikTok Shop product, just recruit a ton of affiliates and get it to blow up, right? That playbook that we were, doing before like a year ago, it's a bit harder now because the leverage is shifting in favor of the quality affiliates, right? Every single one of these affiliates, if you are thinking from their perspective, they open up their phone and they have 100 DMs every single day that's, hey, here's my product, 25% commission, get a free sample, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, it's overwhelming. And the affiliates, they don't need these brands, right? But these brands, they need these affiliates. So the leverage is starting to shift more and more in favor of the affiliate. And so like, that's the core of like where all the other changes are stemming from, is like the shift in leverage is going a bit more to the creator.
Fascinating. I mean, I imagine then it's harder and harder. Like getting those incentives aligned to actually like get the creators on board is probably becoming impossible unless you have some strategy. What are you seeing make sense from like a payment structure to actually get these people interested, to get them onto it, and maybe to take a step back for the audience, just to like if they don't know what TikTok Shop is and how it functions. Do you mind just like a kind of 5-sentence overview of what that looks like, just so they can understand it?
Totally. So TikTok Shop, it's basically TikTok's e-commerce platform, right? You think Instagram Reels meets Amazon, right? That is TikTok Shop essentially. It's very heavily affiliate driven. You look at any shop on the platform and you'll see pretty much 90% of their revenue is coming from affiliates on the platform. So as an affiliate, which is basically anyone on the platform who makes content, there's some like follower requirements, but you can basically go pick up a random product, right? I have this drink next to me. You can go film a piece of content with it. You tag that product and you will get a percentage of any sales that are on there. So a bit different than your typical traditional marketing, traditional influencer marketing where everything has to go through approvals, there's payments and everything. This is just, somebody sitting in their kitchen, pick up a product, they film it, they shoot it. So that's kind of a overview of what TikTok Shop is. What was the other question you asked?
Yeah, other question is the incentive structures that you're seeing, because I know when we initially talked previously, it was so nascent that like these creators are like, yo, I can make 20 grand a month from home just shilling this product. So they were kind of just finding the top selling products and almost like jumping onto those. I imagine now it's become more and more competitive, and so you almost have to create some type of incentive structure to actually get these creators onto to be talking about the product or doing the campaign for you. How are you seeing brands win right now, and like what does that look like from a structural standpoint?
Yeah. So you said it perfectly. And one thing that we're seeing going on right now is like the top brands on the platform they're taking everything, right? I almost think of it as like gravity, right? These top brands, they have a ton of gravity. And so what happens is they suck up all of the good affiliates, right? If I'm a good affiliate and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do today? What am I going to do this month? I'm pretty much going to be promoting the brands that are already converting. They have 5 stars. They have 100,000 products sold, because I know that that's what's going to, make me the most in terms of my commission. It's much harder for a new brand to come on board and to do the same thing, because again, you have to ask yourself from the affiliate standpoint, why would they ever promote you, right? So if you are, e-com brand, maybe you're crushing it on Amazon or some other platform, you come onto TikTok, you have 0 sales and you say, hey, 30% commission, have at it, guys. It's not one of those things, like build it and they will come, right? You're just going to kind of get crickets because like I said, the leverage is now in the hands of the creators, where they have 100 brands that are the same brand that you have. If you have a greens powder, it's like, why am I promoting you? Or you launch like an ashwagandha gummies. Cool. I'm just going to go promote Goalie. So it is getting a bit harder for the newer brands. With the brands that are crushing it, it's a bit easier because like they are just picking up affiliates left and right. So a lot of them, they'll launch some big rewards campaign where they're giving out a Lamborghini if you make them 500,000. They're doing all these big things, but that strategy only really works once you've already made it. Once you have that snowball effect. What we're seeing work right now for newer, smaller brands, you got to pay to play. That's really the way to get your foot in the door. If there's an affiliate out there and that affiliate is making 100,000 in GMV every single month, and I'm a new brand, it's going to be really hard for me to get that a creator to make content for me if I'm not paying them, because they have all the leverage. They're looking at me like, why would I go promote yours when I can just promote this one that it's already proven to convert? It's crushing it. There's thousands of videos out there. I'm way more likely to sell.
No, that makes total sense. From a payment structure, so I imagine this is like what you guys do, where you're like, okay, we're gonna first 1,000 creators to start posting about this. That's kind of how you structured and onboard it. Before we go there, I just want to talk about the thing from the last conversation that stuck with me the most was how you made me think about media, this play, really the short form social play, as like, can it be cost neutral? And if it can, it's a brand discovery mechanism, right? So basically, and you said this again before we started recording, but there's this halo effect that happens from when you do this TikTok shop. So basically, do some type of bundle. You're trying to get some type of and I'm curious to see, or just to hear that biology that you're seeing be kind of the most effective. I think last time you're like, okay, do a bundle of products. It's like at a 50% discount. You basically like have the media. You're building this product that's specifically for TikTok. And then the brands that are performing the best, they're like, hey, we don't even care if we make money off TikTok Shop. We're just using this as a way to go and create more branded search for conversions that'll happen on our store, on our website, for conversions that happen on Amazon. But can you talk more to that and kind of how the most sophisticated brands are thinking about this?
That's exactly how the top brands are thinking about it. They're like, hey, if we break even on TikTok, we are excited about that. We're thrilled about that. And that's what's also making things harder for newer and smaller brands, because they are trying to turn a profit early on TikTok when the bigger brands are coming in, and they'll just outspend, they'll out hire and out attract these affiliates because they're cool with a break even. You take some of the big brands on there, right? Goalie, that's a brand that we work with. I think they're the number one shop. They always flip between 1 and 5, and they get massive halo not only onto Amazon and their store, but they're in retail. They're everywhere, right? So a lot of the videos are just people going into the store.
I just saw them at like Walgreens like 3 days ago. So
exactly.
So it's actually physical purchases. They're seeing this lift as well. I mean, of course, right? It's just media. Like this is just the new form of media.
So I would imagine that, that portion of the business is huge. It's really hard as, someone like us to be able to track that. But something that you can do that I like to look at a lot is the lift onto Amazon, right? So a lot of times what you can do, and we can even run through an example together right now, but you go in and you look at any of these top brands on TikTok that we know are like, okay, this is like almost like a pure TikTok brand. Like this brand launched on TikTok. This is like the TikTok bread and butter. One client that we work with, we've worked with them since they launched. It's called Vital Source. They make like a feminine hygiene gummy. Pure TikTok shop brand, launched them from zero on TikTok shop. They crossed 1 million a month. I think now they're doing like 600,000 a month, something like that.
Insane.
All public numbers you can find on like Callow data and stuff. But if you go to Amazon, you ever use Jungle Scout?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you go to Jungle Scout, look up their product on Jungle Scout. I think it's doing like 800,000 a month or something like that. So like doing more on Amazon than it is on TikTok Shop. And a lot of people aren't even thinking about that, right?
100%.
And you can do this same calculation for every one of these top products. It's kind of hard to tell if you don't know the backstory of like, hey, did this brand launch on Amazon? Did they launch on TikTok? But there's a bunch on there that like, I know they launched on TikTok. They're a TikTok first brand. And ultimately you see Amazon purchases are actually more than TikTok. So like, if you think about it like that, that's why a lot of these brands are like, okay, cool. Like if I break even on TikTok,
I don't care. Yeah.
I'm getting millions and millions of impressions and so much spillover onto Amazon, and there's no visibility into, what they're doing on Shopify, but I'd have to imagine it's quite a bit as well.
Totally. It's funny. I just had my friend Jordan on the show. She's like an Amazon expert. She's a head of digital strategy at this agency called Piranha. I think they're out of San Diego. But anyway, she was saying how like one of the best strategies that people are doing right now to like increase Amazon sales is just like do these campaigns where it's basically I'm trying to get as much reach as I possibly can, especially for consumables where it's like a repeat purchase that's happening in the future. So it's basically like just create as much branded search as possible. There's this natural trickle down effect that happens to Amazon because especially for those types of products, that's where people want to buy because they like the experience of whatever 1 day or 2 day shipping that they can get from it. So I feel like this pair that you're talking about of like this Amazon optimization plus also like TikTok as that top of funnel for that halo is such a powerful lever right now for brands that are in that consumable space. I mean, it feels like a no-brainer.
And this is exactly what we are really trying to hone in right now on the brands that understand that. And they're like, cool, I am okay with breaking even on TikTok. How can I pour as much gasoline on the fire on this and really blow this up? Because it's not, you go into Meta and you can crank up your ads as much as you want, right? Doing that with affiliates is a lot harder, right? There's these like outreach bots where,
100%.
you can outreach so many creators, but that only goes so far and you can only send so many messages per day. And so
It's also the management of that is probably so, like, unless you're specializing in this and have some type of software or whatever that you built, it's going to be impossible to do.
Yeah. And so also there's like the amount of creators that will actually say yes to a pure affiliate deal is becoming like fewer and fewer. And so what we've built is a platform where brands can go in, and I want them to think about it like ad spend, but on creators, where you can go in, see the whole network and go, okay, here's her rates, $500 for 30 videos, purchased, $1,000 for 20 videos, purchase, and just really crank up that knob and just start to get thousands of videos posted. And then, you'll start to see the spillover, Amazon, D2C, wherever else it might be.
Dude, I love this. It's
and
so wild.
Where we're at in the market right now is like, it's still a pretty new thing for these affiliates to take not only affiliate payment, but it's kind of like the hybrid model is what they call it.
Yeah. Where it's a cost per video and then also whatever. It's exactly. I mean, it's a classic affiliate. So it's funny. I used to run these campaigns on YouTube where it's like we would go to a YouTube creator would be like, hey, we want to buy a 3-video package and we'll give you a 20% affiliate commission on whatever you It's that same idea, but just happening basically on platform. But it sounds like all of these transactions are happening off platform, not within TikTok. And then the tracking of the affiliate is through that TikTok kind of software that they have built out. Is that right? Kind of on the structure.
Exactly. And in terms of like where the market's at right now, you can get incredible rates with these affiliates. And so like what we are looking at in terms of like what we like to show the brands in our platform for them to make a hiring decision is the GMV per video that a creator's done. So maybe last month they posted 100 videos and they made 100,000 in GMV. So their GMV per video on average is 1,000, right?
Yep.
Every time that creator posts, we can expect, okay, they're going to make $1,000 a video. Right now, typically for that creator, you can hire them for around $100-$150 a video. So it's like, okay, I can hire this creator for $100 a video and his like expected output's going to be 1,000. Cool. I will make that trade every single day. And now
you're coming in out like an 8x ROAS. I mean,
And so like we are seeing that right now. We're seeing, the pricing for creators there. And so there's so much opportunity with that. And now it won't stay like that forever.
Because 100%.
What's going to happen is these bigger brands are going to come in and it's going to be the same thing that happened with like
on Facebook ads or whatever. Exactly. Yeah. The arbitrage is going to go away. It's like right now it's basically sprint as fast as you can and deploy as much capital as you can in this strategy.
So yeah, that the leverage is starting to go in terms of these creators where like they can actually start to charge. Whereas before it was purely affiliate. Now you're seeing the top affiliates. It's still very, very cheap compared to your classic like influencer. A lot of brands that will pay $5,000 on an influencer post, or you can get one of these top affiliates and $5,000, that'll get you 30, 60 posts with someone who's just purely optimized to sell.
No, that makes total sense. So talk to me about I'm just curious the kind of the creator spectrum. What do the high performers look like? Like the super high performers. What are the low performers? I guess if you're a brand and you're trying to identify these people, what's that average GMV per video that you should be targeting? That is like the best players. Just to kind of understand the economics of what this looks like.
Yeah. So I like to think of it. A lot of brands will come to us and be like, what level of creators should we target? I like to say, try to hit them all as long as like you're looking at this GMV per video stat. So for example, if I'm going to hire a creator that's like a bit newer, right? They show signs of like, okay, they're, maybe they haven't had, crazy amount of GMV. They've done like 5,000 GMV in the last month. That's completely fine. And let's say their GMV per video is like 100. Well, now we're looking to pay them like probably $20 a video. So as long as you're still getting that like that delta between your price per video and their average GMV per video, there's nothing wrong with that. So sprinkle in a bunch of lower performing creators, some mid tier, and then maybe you get one or two of like the super high performing ones that they do 100,000 GMV every month. So I don't have like a strong preference on like, hey, you should only go after creators that have like this much. For me, what I'm looking at is their pricing to like how much they make in that ratio.
Yeah. It's just a performance marketing metric, right? So,
Exactly.
I mean, honestly, it's just a ROAS number is really what it turns into. It's
Yep.
like, cool, we're putting $100 into a video and we know that's going to turn into $1,000 in revenue. Like, I'm going to go to that ATM all day and put as much money in as I can.
And that's not even counting what's going
all
to
the
happen.
halo. Yeah.
Exactly.
Totally amazing, man. So talk to me about the types of brands that this makes the most sense with. I imagine it's like consumables. I know in the past you told me it's like stuff that is kind of weird performs really well, like this hair removal laser, and they're like showing them do it, or like if there's some type of use case that's kind of strange. What are the brands that you're seeing be the most successful with this? And like, what are the brands that should stay away from this? What are, I'd love to hear kind of those two contrasting.
Yeah. You mentioned a lot of the, a lot of the key elements. A lot of it's going to be consumables. Typically, impulse price range is going to be best. If there's some type of like unique element in there, that's always better. Something that solves a problem, something that's visual. I mean, I can run you through like the top 10 products right now. Like the number one on TikTok is this like home apothecary book with like 250 home remedies. Just like very, very interesting, very unique. Beef tallow, different supplements, like women's probiotic, ashwagandha, these like nasal sticks that you stick in your nose, and it's like an energy boost, and it's like a very interesting, way to consume the product. Hair care products, so like cheap hair curlers. It's all over the place. But typically it's going to be like the impulse buy price range. I think pretty much all of those are around the $30 range. Sometimes you get, something a little bit higher, but yeah, it's going to be, impulse buy, something that's visual, solves a problem.
That makes a ton of sense. So I know there's probably somebody listening right now that's like, oh, well, these are all kind of like bad brands, right? like if I'm trying to build, a classic, iconic D2C brand, I guess Goalie probably falls into that category now because of how big they are. But I imagine there's probably some pushback of like, oh, well, I don't want to erode the brand by doing this offer or kind of being in the in the wings with these types of products. What's your pushback on that, or like how would you kind of talk to how do you talk to your clients that are? I know in the past you've worked with like classic, traditional beauty brands, and you're like, hey, you got to think about this in this way. Like, what is that angle that they should be thinking at it from, rather than, this is a brand erosion that could happen?
Yeah. I mean, it's something that these brands, they're going to have to get past it if they want to go this route, because it's very different. Also in the sense of like the videos that you will be receiving back, and you have no way of like approving or denying those. And you're going to get a lot of like raunchy videos, videos of just like, you got a 16-year-old kid and he's trying to sell the product however he can. And like a lot of times there's very like either like sexual angles or like trying to be very funny, right? All the things that make a video go viral, and you're going to get a lot of that. And so if you are a more conservative brand and like you can't stand the thought of that, it's probably not right for you. But you see the brands that are okay with it and they're like, cool, like let these creators do whatever they do. It's paying off for them.
It makes sense. It's funny. I feel brands get so like obsessed with their image, right? And I understand like that's really what they're building and the most important, aspect of this. But like simultaneously, they, their dream is they go viral, within the zeitgeist of internet culture. So it's like you're almost figuring out how to walk that line. I mean, more and more, I feel like it's just a volume game. It's like, how do you get as much reach as you possibly can? And like we're experimenting with this right now. I know we talked about this last time, but basically like building out all of these TikTok accounts, like a TikTok cloud, right? Where we do an eSIM and then tunnel into it with a VPN and to basically it looks like a mobile device that's in the US, right? And we have it look like it's a cracked out person just consuming, and then we go and we post, AI avatar videos through those. For us, like what we're looking at it as is like, hey, the video might only get 1,000 views, right? But I can make that video for like pennies. And that puts my CPM at the cheapest CPM that exists on the internet, right? This arbitrage is going to go away. How do you exploit it as much as possible? And I feel like, what it feels like TikTok Shop is kind of in that same category where it's like, this is not going to be here for forever. There's like a moment for you to build brands on top of it, or like get this traction or get this lift. And then after that, it's just going to turn into another channel that's within the kind of classic, tool belt of a marketer. But, maybe to kind of transition into the next thing. So I know there's a ton of chatter right now around people using these like AI videos or AI generated videos on TikTok shops. I'm curious, like what have you seen happening in that space?
Yeah. There is a lot of use of AI on there, and it's constantly changing. It's constantly evolving. Like last time we talked, one of the big ones was, you would go generate a bunch of just still images using AI, and then you'd use 11 labs and you do some editing and you kind of make the images move a little bit. It was the classic like Atom voice on 11 labs, if you know what I'm talking about. It's kind of that.
I do, yeah.
Serious. Those would go crazy. Those now you don't really see too much. So there's constantly like these new waves of like AI styles. You're seeing more and more of like the AI avatar. One that we're seeing a lot of people use right now is like AI avatar, kind of super small in the corner. So it's a little harder to tell because there's still a little nuance with the mouth. And then in the background, it's kind of like green screen where they're doing images. Yep. Those seeing a ton of. But I would say it's still relatively small. Like if you go and you look at all the top performing videos, you go on some of these like TikTok spy websites. Yeah, it's typically like less than 10%, probably even less than that is AI. I think the style that's the most underused right now is actually going to be just AI voice with 11 labs and like pure like real B-roll of the product. So the brand going and just getting a ton, and it has to be the right product for this. Like one I saw recently, I got some of these pulled up. Maybe I can send you them. Is like this. Here, I'll send you the link. I don't know if you can like share this.
Yeah, you can screen share if you want to, Mike. You should be able to do that.
All right, let me do that then, and I'll share. So here's this one. I think this video did like 300,000 in GMV, and it's like one of the top ones. I'll share two real quick. Might have to edit some of this out.
Kenneth, just make a note to edit this section out where we're quiet. My editor will handle it. So
cool. All right. So here's one. Let me know when you can see this.
Yep, I can see that.
All right, so I'm gonna hit play.
Writing practice fun for kids. The ink disappears after.
Oh my God.
No more wasting money on new workbooks. Since we got these books, my kids actually love practicing writing. They sit down on their own every day. No more nagging from me.
Just for the audience that's only listening, what's basically happening is it's like an outline.
Keep things easy and fun. If you want your kids to
and then an AI voice speaking over the top of it. So that's just like stock footage of the product. AI voice doing the script over the top of it.
Here's another one, similar idea. It's just like it's a visual product. It's like a steamer, and they probably have, tons of just like, B-roll of someone using the product. And then you can just iterate so many different variations 100%. of scripts. So here's another one that has 122,000 likes. I think this one did a couple 100,000 in GMV.
Insane.
Insane.
I love the name.
And so like, you and I can detect that that's like an AI voice. And I go through there and I see they're pumping out 10 videos a day, and it's just like a slightly different voice, slightly different script. And then the videos are edited, a little bit differently. And most of the videos, they'll just get 500, 1,000 views, but occasionally you get the one that gets 4 million and then it sells $200,000 worth of product. And it's probably just a combination of AI and a video editor in the Philippines that's just running that.
100%. Okay, so sounds like a volume game. Are your best creators that you're working with, are they just like, how many videos are they doing a day? Like when they come in and they're working with you, like what does that look like from a production standpoint that for the top performers?
Dude, it's actually all over the place. There's so many different strategies out there. So there's some of these creators. It's kind of like a new thing that pops up. They call themselves just like bottle of funnel creators. Very super niche, but basically what they'll do is they'll go and they'll just promote any one of the top 100 products out there, right? Typically the top 10, right? Let's just call it Goalie, for example. They're the number one brand. And so basically, if you think about Goalie, they probably have the most like broad audience in terms of like how many people have seen their product. You know, how many people are like could potentially buy, how many people have had a couple Goalie impressions. And so as one of these like bottom of funnel creators, all they're doing is like 10 videos a day. That's literally just video as if, okay, the person on the other side of the screen, they've already seen this product 10 times. They just need the thing that's going to get the conversion. So it'll literally be a 15-second video of like, hey, last chance, it's on sale. Here's why you need to get it in store, blah, 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 whatever, done. And it's just like, they're just pump out those and they don't get a ton of views each one, but like the conversion rate's really high. And there's creators making 40, 50 grand a month, literally just making 10 to 20 videos a day that are just like not good quality, but it's all why you should buy right now, low stock, sale, and it's just like, they're just pumping those out. So like, I mean, that's one style. Then you have a style that's pretty much the complete other side where they're only doing maybe one video a day, but that video, they are really focused on how to go viral, right? They are going for the exact opposite. The top of funnel, I'm trying to get 5 million views on this video. The video might be 90 seconds to 2 minutes long. It's going to have storytelling woven in. It's going to have many different components. So there's not like a one size fits all in terms of like how much output these creators are doing. There's so many like different strategies.
Dude, that is the bottom of funnel one feels so amazing. Like I can imagine myself as a 20-year-old. I would be doing that all day long.
Dude, there's a lot of people too that aren't even showing their face. It's just like showing the products and like, go buy it right now. And it's just like low quality videos.
Yeah,
but
totally.
Pumping them out. And also again, that would not work for a brand that's not doing well.
Yeah,
that
100%.
Style only works for the top performing brands. And that's why these top performing brands, like I said earlier, it's like gravity, right?
Yeah, totally.
The creator that's like, oh, I want to do this like bottom of funnel thing. What do? They all go to Goalie. They all go to the top brands. So when you're at the top, you just pick up so many of these affiliates on autopilot.
Totally. Okay, so I want to go way high level. You're a new brand coming onto TikTok. How do you enter that top chart? Is it too competitive now? Or like, if you're the companies you're working with, how are you talking to them about it? Of like, we're going to get you to this level. This is what you need to do to accomplish that. What are the budgets that are necessary? What does that look like from a total video output? Kind of break that down for me of how you go from 0 to 1 to a top shop within TikTok shop.
Totally. So I'll walk you through that. And I'll also walk you through how I've seen that change over time. About pretty much a year ago today, the method was like spray and pray. We're going to get in here and like the goal is how can we get you as many samples shipped and as many creators, making videos with your product. And while you still can do that to a sense right now, it's becoming harder and harder and a bit trickier. One of the main reasons is because a lot of these creators, they hit request a sample, they get your product. All they owe you is one video and that's it. So it's very hard to get any type of strategy across to that creator. They're not going to follow any guidelines. They're not going to listen to you at all. They're just going to get the product. They're going to make a video and, done with you. That style, again, used to work. We took a brand from a 0 to 1 million a month in less than 2 months, purely doing that. It was a viral
What was
product.
the brand? Yeah, sorry.
Skin Body. It's like a women's dermaplaning brand where like you spray like almost like a shaving cream on your face. Basically, the strategy for them was like, we just took our network and we're like, guys, this product's blowing up. Everybody get in here. And it was like recruiting, the armies to come in and just make content like crazy. Now, I would say as a brand, you have to be a little bit more strategic. And it's going to be way harder as a new brand to do that because all of these creators are going to look at you and be like, yeah, but I'm just going to go promote these big brands over here. Why would I make a free video for you? I'm just going to make videos for the ones that are already crushing it. So you're going to have to come in and pay some of these creators. So you're going to want to start off by creating the strategy yourself, right? Go through the top 100 videos on the platform, figure out why they're going viral, and figure out how you can kind of recreate that same viral moment for your brand, how you can take those frameworks, put them into a brief. And then I would start off by just hiring creators, right? Start with maybe 20, and you're gonna take each 20 and hire them for 10 videos a month, 20 videos a month, 30 videos a month. And now the big difference is you can actually work with those creators. Now that you're paying them, even if it's not a ton, $500 a month, $1,000 a month, now you can get a strategy across. You can even potentially own the usage rights to those videos. So if one of them does go viral, cool, I'm going to take that. We're going to run that as an ad on every single one of those platforms. So the game's changed a bit now where you're going to have to kind of pay to play just to get access to some of these top affiliates off the bat. But then what you're going to want to see is the flywheel. So as you start to grow as a brand, not only are you just growing sales with those creators, but now you're picking up gravity and now you're starting to attract other creators. Because one video blows up, what happens is that video, it generates sales, but it also picks up other affiliates, right? The affiliates are smart. They want to hop on what's trending, what's really working. They see a video, oh, this has 2 million views with that product. Cool, I'm going to get a sample of that. I'm going to actually recreate that. And then you'll see so many creators jump on. Like you'll get one video that goes viral. You'll have 10 people just literally copy that same exact video word for word because they are trying to recreate that same exact thing. So that's kind of the launch plan now. You typically are going to have to pay some of these top affiliates just to kind of get your foot in the door. And then from there, what we're seeing a lot of top brands do is try to actually own their own affiliate community. That's what all these top brands have, right? They have their own Discord. They do like similar to what our company does for our creator community. They'll do the same thing, right? They'll hire a coach. They'll get everyone in their own Discord. They want to own the relationship with that creator. And so that's where things are going. And it's starting to go cross-platform too. We're seeing a lot of the top brands. They're like, hey guys, we're going to run this big rewards campaign. All your GMV on TikTok shop counts. But also if you want to repost those videos onto Instagram, you want to repost them onto YouTube and use, our affiliate link, we'll count those all in the rewards too. The other platforms, it's still smaller, but it's getting there.
No, that makes total sense. Is there any rumblings in the industry that like if Facebook's going to come forward with something like this for Instagram or, is it mainly, yeah.
YouTube's already doing it, but they're quite slow. I was at like a conference about a month ago and like YouTube Shop was there. And honestly, I was pretty disappointed. It was very underwhelming and it seems like they're very slow to get that stuff rolled out. But it will be here at some point.
No, that makes sense. So you said there's a business idea you have in this whole section. I'd love to hear it. Like, and if you're a listener and you're like in the e-com world, this is probably something you can go start tomorrow. But what was that idea?
Business idea. Mainly because one, like I had this idea probably a year ago. I wanted to do it and just didn't have the bandwidth and like still want it, still see more need than ever. Less of an e-com, more of like an agency play. But one thing that we are seeing a ton of demand from brands right now is to grow their Spanish speaking affiliate segment. That's like one of the hottest sections on TikTok shop right now is Spanish content. Not sure exactly why. Maybe it's just like an imbalance between amount of people that are consuming content in Spanish and amount of people that are producing. But there's a huge demand for it for brands. Also, a lot of the top videos we see are in Spanish. And on top of that, there seems to be like a bit more leeway when it comes to getting violations on TikTok shop. Like you can just say more if it's in Spanish than you can in English for some reason. So just kind of setting the stage there. I would say probably 1 out of every 10 brands that come to us when we sit down and we're like, hey, what type of affiliates are you looking for? We'll put the brief together. They're like, hey, we're very interested in Spanish creators. How many Spanish creators do you have? Okay. So with that being said, what I think there's a market for right now, if you're trying to get into the TikTok shop game and you can speak Spanish and you're looking to grow an agency, this is top of mind for me because I was just living in Colombia. But a lot of countries out there, they don't have access to TikTok shop, right? Colombia, if I have TikTok in Colombia, I can't just go and like post on TikTok shop. I need access to the US market. But the US market, there's a ton of demand for Spanish content. So there's definitely some opportunity there to merge those two. Similar, we were talking before off camera, you're helping out one of my buddies with, I think it was like a Philippines,
like offshore talent. Yeah, totally.
I think there's a huge opportunity there, but in the content space where you have like high quality content creators in these other markets, like a Colombia, in a place where, I knew a lot of people there, locals, where it's like, hey, if they got paid $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, like absolutely thrilled. They wouldn't have to work some other job. Like, hey, I can make 30 videos for $1,000. Absolute no brainer. So I think there's a huge potential there. You're already seeing this with AI, people, recreating viral videos and just doing it in Spanish. But I think there's a huge potential to create some like Spanish, like offshore content type agency.
Dude, I love it. That's amazing. What am I not asking you that I should be? What is like, is there something that we haven't talked about today that should be top of mind for everybody?
Let's see. We talked AI. We talked the Halo. Something that is coming to TikTok. They have technically launched it, but I haven't seen a single brand that has access, is the subscribe and save feature. I think that's going to be huge because one, both for the brand side and the creator side, creators, you'll start to earn recurring commissions, which just goes a long way, right? You make the sale once and like now you're going to earn commissions on like the lifetime of that purchaser. I think that's huge. And same thing for the brands as well. That's been a huge feature on Amazon and it's coming to TikTok. It's launched. They have like the button on there, but I haven't seen a brand that has access yet. So I would expect that to go live, by the end of this month.
Fascinating, man. This is amazing. Mike, if you want to reach out to you, where can they find you? What's the best place?
I would go to brandsmeetcreators.com, or you can look up Mike Rama on LinkedIn and shoot me a DM.
Amazing, man. Dude, thank you again for coming on, giving this State of the Union. I know it's every time I talk to you, I'm like, man, it just feels like a gold rush is really happening in that space. Especially if you can figure out a product where it's that break even to create that halo. I feel like it's the most, it feels like the biggest arbitrage right now, besides, all the creator work that you can do on platform, doing kind of where you have like 10 creators or 20 creators that are posting daily and you're only paying them like, whatever, $800 a month. But I appreciate your time, man. It's super valuable. I know the audience will also be appreciative as well.
Absolutely. Cody, appreciate you having me.
Thanks, brother.